Lana Jenkins drove the familiar highway north from Minneapolis to Duluth in silence. The crisp November landscape unfolded around her. The birches had shed their leaves, and the gray skies pressed low over the frozen lakes and sleeping pine forests. The family house on Clover Ridge still looked the same, white siding, a wide porch, wind chimes tinkling at the corner. It was the house where she had scraped her knees on the steps and hung Christmas lights with her dad. Her mother still kept dusty photo albums on the shelf, labeled with years like evidence of happiness. To outsiders, her family seemed solid, American to the core. 2 children grown into respectable careers, long marriage, holiday traditions uninterrupted. But Lana knew the cracks. They didn't run along the foundation of the house. They ran through the people inside it, invisible, quiet, but always present. From the moment she stepped through the door, she felt it, that subtle tension like a thread pulled too tight. Her mother bustled between the kitchen and dining room, coordinating dishes with mechanical cheer. Her father sat in his recliner, reading the paper, barely glancing up. Jared, her older brother, stood near the fireplace, wearing an expensive blazer, sipping bourbon like he owned the room. He always had. Since childhood, Jared had been the star, the boy with the charming smile and the magnetic confidence. He had a way of twisting reality. Lana's earliest memories of him weren't warm. They were flashes of confusion and betrayal. The Barbie doll with its head ripped off, the broken bike blamed on her, the science fair project she built entered under his name. Somehow, she always ended up being the one in trouble. He had a gift for rewriting the past. Lana became the problem child, the liar, the one who couldn't take a joke. As they grew older, his tactics changed, but never stopped. In high school, he spread a rumor that she had slept with a teacher after winning an award. In college, he anonymously contacted her boyfriend and suggested she was unstable. That breakup nearly broke her. At family gatherings, Jared would mimic her stutter, her nervous laughter, her quiet voice. He turned her pain into entertainment. Their cousins laughed. Their parents said nothing. Her mother called it teasing. Her father simply said, "Don't let it get to you." And every time Lana brought it up, she was labeled dramatic. Eventually, she stopped. But the hurt remained. She didn't forgive. She didn't forget. That Thanksgiving, something inside her shifted. Maybe it was the way Jared smirked when she arrived. Maybe it was the look in her mother's eyes when Lana set her homemade pie next to Jared's store-bought one. Maybe it was just exhaustion from years of silence. During dinner, Jared dominated the table with stories about his latest real estate deals. Exaggerated, self-congratulatory. And everyone listened. Her mother beamed. Her father nodded. Lana watched and felt her throat close. Something hardened in her. It wasn't anger, not exactly. It was resolve. She wouldn't play along anymore. Not this time. 2 months after Thanksgiving, Lana's phone rang just after noon. Her father's voice, usually measured and dry, cracked slightly. Jared was in the hospital. Acute renal failure. The words fell heavy and sterile. A transplant was his only option. Immediate family were being tested. Lana's name was already on the list. She sat in stunned silence, staring at the pale winter light on her office wall. The last words she had spoken to Jared echoed in her memory, sharp as glass. Now she was being asked to save him. Later that evening, a doctor confirmed it. Lana was a perfect match, genetically compatible, young, healthy. Her kidney could give Jared another 20 years. Her parents clung to that news like gospel. Her mother called within the hour. Her tone was sweet, almost trembling. She spoke of family, of shared childhood, of Christian kindness. Lana listened, numb. It wasn't guilt they used. It was duty. It was obligation dressed up as love. Her father's voice followed, quieter. He didn't plead. He didn't pressure. He simply said they hoped. Hoped she'd find it in her heart. Hoped she'd remember the blood they all shared. But Lana remembered other things, darker things. She didn't say no, but she didn't say yes. She asked for time. The doctors agreed to a short delay. It was enough to make a decision that went far beyond biology. Lana knew this wasn't just about surgery. It was about truth. That night, she pulled a dusty box from under her bed. Inside were pieces of a life she'd buried. Old journals, high school notes, unsent letters. One letter was to Jared, never mailed, written after he destroyed her college application essay. There were texts from her ex-boyfriend, apologizing for believing Jared's lies. Emails from colleagues who'd witnessed Jared undermine her at a family event. Screenshots of insults he had slipped into public threads. None of it forgotten. Reading her own past felt like examining the wreckage of a building she'd once lived in. Brick by brick, she uncovered how thoroughly Jared had shaped her life. Not with fists, but with words, with silence, with manipulation. Each page reminded her that this wasn't sibling rivalry. It was erosion. It was identity theft. She hadn't just suffered. She had been systematically erased, framed, laughed at, and then asked to sit politely at the table afterward. Lana knew her kidney could save him, but her silence already had cost her too much. This time, if Jared wanted her lifeblood, he would have to give her something in return. Not money, not thanks, the truth, spoken out loud, in front of them all. Lana didn't call her parents. She contacted a lawyer. The message was clear and brief. She would donate her kidney only if Jared admitted, in front of their entire family, everything he had done to her. No excuses, no spin, just the truth. Not whispered in a hallway, but said in a room full of witnesses. The reaction came fast. Her mother called it cruel, said Lana was playing God, said this wasn't how families solved things. Her father called it dangerous, claimed she was humiliating them all, that she was destroying the family name. No one asked why she made that demand. No one asked what she needed, only what it would look like, only how it would be perceived. The shame of a public confession, they said, would tear the family apart, as if it hadn't already been shattered in silence. The hospital stayed neutral. The surgeon noted the match was rare. Jared's condition was stable but deteriorating. Time was narrowing. If Lana refused, he might not find another donor in time. She held the only key. When Jared heard the condition, his pride flared. He called it blackmail, claimed Lana was exaggerating, said she always had a victim complex, that she was inventing pain, that her memories weren't real, that she wanted revenge, not healing. Lana didn't respond. She let the silence grow. Days passed, then a week. Jared's condition worsened. His skin yellowed, his breath shortened, his charm, his confidence, his strength, all slipping. The body was failing. The ego couldn't hold it up anymore. Then the message came through the attorney. Jared agreed. He would speak. He wanted the date, the place, the terms. Lana answered calmly. It would be the day before surgery, in the hospital, in a private conference room, with every family member invited. The hospital helped organize it. Chairs were arranged, a table was cleared. The staff, used to crisis, didn't flinch at emotion. Lana created the guest list herself. Parents, cousins, aunts, anyone who had ever heard Jared mock her and said nothing. Her mother tried again to change her mind, said the past should stay buried, said no good would come from digging up old wounds. Lana thanked her for the input and stayed silent. She wasn't looking for peace. She was looking for clarity. The room was set, the date confirmed. Jared would speak the next day. Lana slept that night without dreams. She had already lost her innocence, her childhood, her trust. She would not lose her voice again. The hospital conference room was quiet and sterile, lit by fluorescent bulbs that hummed faintly. Chairs lined the walls. Family members filled them. Mother, father, Aunt Marianne, cousins from both sides. They sat stiffly, their expressions tense, eyes shifting between each other. No one knew how this would go. Everyone felt the weight of what was coming. Jared entered slowly, supported by a nurse. His frame had shrunk, his face hollowed. The strong, mocking brother was gone. Now only a man remained, sick, exhausted, and forced to confront something far heavier than illness. He lowered himself into a chair across from Lana. Lana was already there. She sat upright, hands folded tightly in her lap. Her face was calm, but her knuckles were pale from pressure. She didn't speak. She didn't blink. She simply waited. The entire room did. The silence stretched long, wrapping itself around their throats like fog. Jared looked around. His eyes landed briefly on their mother, then their father, then back to Lana. He swallowed hard, licked his lips, and began. His voice cracked. At first, the words came slowly, broken by pauses. He spoke of first grade, how he had destroyed her class project the night before it was due, and told their parents she did it herself out of frustration. He confessed to stealing her diary at 13 and reading it aloud to friends during a sleepover, laughing at her secrets. He recalled college, when he seduced her best friend, then told Lana the next day, framing it as a life lesson about trust. Each story landed like a dull blow in the quiet room. Then came the deeper wounds. He admitted to calling her boss once, anonymously, to plant doubts about her mental health. He admitted to telling their parents, repeatedly, that Lana needed help, that she was unstable, that therapy was just a phase of weakness. Each word stripped away the illusion of sibling rivalry. This wasn't rivalry. It was cruelty. He paused often, not for effect, but from shame. His hands trembled slightly in his lap. At one point, their mother let out a quiet sob. Their father stared at the floor. No one interrupted. Jared kept going. He listed moments, years apart, of deliberate humiliation. He said he did it because he could, because she never fought back, because she was easier to blame. He ended with a whisper, that he hadn't apologized before because he didn't think he owed her one, that he hadn't known how deep it went, that he finally understood, and that if the price of continuing to live was saying this, he was ready to pay it. Then he fell silent. No one moved. The air felt heavier than before. Their father turned his face away toward the window. Their mother dabbed at her eyes with a crumpled tissue. Lana stayed still. She studied Jared, not with emotion, but with clarity. Then, after a long moment, she gave a single, steady nod. The surgery was scheduled 2 days after the confession. The hospital wing was calm that morning, the corridors washed in soft light. Lana signed the last consent form with steady hands. The staff praised her composure. She didn't feel brave, just resolved. She knew exactly what she was doing and why. The transplant went smoothly. Doctors said it was a textbook operation. Jared's body responded well to the new kidney. His vitals stabilized, his color returned. The prognosis was hopeful. Technically, it had all gone perfectly. Lana woke up groggy and aching. The incision throbbed with every movement. Nurses helped her sit up, breathe deeply, manage the pain. The nights were hardest. Sleep came in short, restless stretches. But she didn't complain. This pain, unlike the old kind, had purpose. Jared visited once she was awake. He didn't stay long. He said thank you, quietly. He didn't joke. He didn't comment on her appearance. He looked down when he spoke and left without lingering. For the first time, he took up less space. Her mother brought flowers, but said little. She sat at the edge of the bed, fingers twisting the strap of her purse, eyes darting between the machines. Her father came later and stood in the doorway. He asked how she felt, then looked away when she answered. Neither stayed long. The silence didn't hurt. It didn't feel like absence. It felt like freedom. Lana didn't crave their comfort. She didn't need their praise. She had stopped looking for something they were never able to give. She had stopped trying to prove she belonged. Lying in the hospital bed, Lana realized she felt something she hadn't felt in years. Stillness. Not emptiness, not sorrow. Just a clean, quiet space inside her where resentment used to live. It wasn't joy, but it was peace. Recovery took weeks. Stitches healed. The bruises faded. Lana followed every instruction, did every checkup, rested as told. The physical part was easy compared to everything that had come before. Her body would remember the pain, but her mind had already moved on. Jared sent a handwritten note a week later. It was short, sincere. He said he was sorry again. He said he was trying to change. Lana folded it once and placed it in a drawer. She didn't throw it away, but she didn't read it twice. The family didn't talk about what happened in the hospital room. They moved on carefully, like stepping over glass. But Lana didn't need them to talk. She had heard what mattered, and she had said nothing in return, because silence now was hers. 6 months later, Lana moved to Seattle. The city greeted her with rain and salt air, and she welcomed it like a long exhale. She started a new job at a small architectural firm near the waterfront. The pace was steady, the people kind, and no one knew anything about her past. Her apartment overlooked a quiet street with tall evergreens. She painted the walls herself, chose every piece of furniture with care. The space felt hers in a way no childhood room ever had. Every corner whispered of freedom. She changed her email, switched banks, left no forwarding address for most of her relatives. Her phone held no missed calls, no guilt-filled voicemails. It stayed silent, and she was grateful for that. Silence no longer meant erasure. It meant boundaries. Her medical file now included the word donor, a clinical note attached to her name. But that name was different now. She didn't change it legally, not yet, but she introduced herself as L at the office. Shortened, lighter, not an erasure, but a reset. One afternoon, a postcard arrived. Simple. A photo of a lake, no return address, Jared's handwriting. You saved me. Thank you for the chance to become someone else. Lana read it once, then tucked it between 2 books. It didn't make her cry. She didn't reply. Not out of anger, but from choice. Not every door needed reopening. Some things could be left exactly where they were. In the past, acknowledged, but unmoved. Forgiveness, she had learned, didn't always require reconnection. In the bottom drawer of her desk, beneath files and notebooks, lay a printed transcript. Jared's confession, typed out and sealed in a plastic sleeve. She had asked the hospital to record the session for legal purposes. It had never been used. She kept it not for revenge, but for proof. Proof that the past had happened, that her story was real, that she had spoken, that he had answered, that a cycle had broken, not with rage, but with truth. Quiet, steady, irreversible. Some nights she lit a candle, opened the window, and listened to the wind. She didn't think of Jared or her parents. She thought of the girl she had once been, small and confused, walking the hallways of her childhood home. That girl was gone. What remained was a woman who had said no, who had made a demand and watched the world shift to meet it. Lana didn't need applause. She had her own name now, her own breath, her own life. And that finally was enough.